Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week. And it was a pretty good week. I got 8 comics, plus I got this at the end of last week. I made a taking a look at my 2 Mr. X books. But this is the Brides of Mr. X. And I wanted to start out with this just because I did a taking a look of this video. You can go look that one up. And I'll probably talk about this more in depth on our Friday Night Live show. But I really liked this. It's volume 2 of Mr. X from the late 80s. And this was kind of always the volume I wasn't that interested in. And turns out I only ever read one issue of it, the first issue of Mr. X volume 2. And it's by Jeffrey Morgan as the writer, and Disraeli does most of the art. And it was terrific. I really liked it. This beautiful art. Just stylish art, good storytelling, good story. I gotta say, I was very impressed with this volume, especially since, like I said, this was always the volume in my mind that I didn't like. But turns out that was all in my mind, because I really liked this. But like I said, I'm going to talk about it on the Friday night show some more. Here are the 2 top of my printer comics we got hanging out there. We got one of the mystery comics, Ghosts, an Ernie Colon cover. He signed it down there with, I guess, all the toys coming to life and taking care of that guy. And this is a Desperados. This is about 20 years old now, early 2000s. This is a John Cassidy cover. I think all the John Cassidy covers I saw for quite a long time had like one figure on them. That's what he would always do for his like Marvel covers or whatever. But here's one where he's got a whole scene. I remember liking this book. Who was this? Marriott and Cassidy and Bell. So I guess Cassidy drew the insides too. He didn't do all the series, but there's a few Desperado series, and this is one of them. Is there a year on it? Don't see a year. Anyway, those were the 2 I had on top of my printer and just kind of glanced at all week. Now we'll replace them with another 2. Let's see. The first, pardon me, the first comic I got is Joseph Schmelke's 7 Years in Darkness, number 2. Heavy cardstock cover. This is he did a couple of comics I liked last year, these like space opera one-shots. And this is another kind of space opera comic that looks like a horror comic here. So we'll have to see. But I liked the first issue. Like I said, I remember the first issue being a bit space opera-y. This one looks a little different. We'll see how it did. Like he's a guy I'm going to keep my eye on and buy some of his comics as they come out. I've got Local Man, number 5. Sealy and Fleece. We got a flip cover here. There's the main story, and there's the backup 90s story. There's our guy. I think, no, that's Camo Crusader. Where's somewhere on here is our guy from the 90s. I don't know which one it is. Cross Jack. There he is. I guess that's his 90s costume too. Disgraced superhero has to go back to his hometown, gets involved with this conspiracy murder mystery thing. Some nice artwork. I've been enjoying this one. This one hooked me with the first issue, and I've been liking it ever since. Here's something I picked up off the shelf. I don't know what it is. It's a Howard Chaykin book, Sunshine and Patriots. I don't know if this is new or a reprint of something old, because it's by Alien Books and Fair Square Comics, and it looks like it's like some of the type like on this cover isn't that crisp. Might be a print on demand book. I have no idea. Alien Books, but it was $10. Not I think it's a 48-page book, square bound, which I've never been a fan of, but nice Howard Chaykin artwork. I'll give it like I said, I didn't think it was new because he's got Hey Kids Comics coming out, which was his newest one, so I don't know what one this is, but it's one of 2. I'll probably get the second one whenever that comes out. Alien Books, I have no idea. Mature readers, $9.99. Canada, $13. Only Howard Chaykin's getting me to pay $10 for a comic. So, well, not only, but he's one of the ones. The Savage Strength of Starstorm. This is the one I bought. Got the first issue. I don't know if it's amateurish looking on purpose or it's just amateurish. This is actually Wes Craig's older brother, Drew Craig. And I'm like, and they even had, it looks kind of cool. And it was funny, this is one of the ones that I always read my comics twice, as I've said here, usually a few days or a week apart. The first time I read through issue 1, I was kind of like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm reading. The second time reading it through, a few days later, I kind of knew what to expect and liked it better. So sometimes not knowing what something is can like get in the way of liking something. So this was some superhero galactic thing. I don't know. Like I said, there's a very amateurish quality about it. But I don't know if that's done on purpose or he's just an amateur. I'm not really sure. Then we've got She Aversions, Cerebus in Hell. I don't even know what. I guess it's supposed to be a DC comic. It's parodying, but I don't even know what. And this is copy 79 of 1335. Obviously, that the print run is only 1335, which means nobody liked this cover, because the print run goes up if people like the cover, because there's people who will buy it just for the parody cover. And I'm guessing not that many people bought the. And look, it looks like we got a Spider-Man down there and a. What is it, a beetle Cerebus? I don't know. That book's just weird. Turtles Usagi, number 4 of 6. There'll be a new Usagi book in September from Dark Horse. Meanwhile, we get this IDW, the last of his IDW stuff. Don't know if his Dark Horse stuff is going to be in color or not, but a lot of fun here. Stan Sakai is always good. You know, he's always on my pull list. He could get me to spend $10 on a comic. Spent $5 on this one. Ooh, there's the wraparound cover. I always like Usagi. Issue 4 of 4 of Red Zone. This has been a spy story. I really liked the artwork in it by Mike Delgado Jr. It's just been doing this graphic designy thing. Like, it really looks like Paul Galassi to me, just because they both use photographs of photo reference sometimes. So his photo referencing looks like Paul Galassi's photo referencing in this particular book. But I've really been enjoying the artwork. The story is fine. The story is, old spy comes back because old enemies are trying to kill him. There you go. It's like every other old spy story. Which, speaking of old spy stories, was it Old Dog? Another old spy story. Just took a really weird twist in the last issue. The last thing we got was a facsimile edition. Got 121, was it, a couple of weeks ago? So now we got the second part of the story of the Goblin's Last Stand in 122, the death of Gwen Stacy stuff. I just like these facsimile editions because they turn these sort of expensive issues into comics again. Like to me, it's like an expensive issue. Some old expensive comic becomes an object after a while. Becomes an object, maybe CGC'd, maybe but you're not going to read your $4,000 comic if you happen to have one. I don't. But the reprint of it, you can read, you can throw it around, whatever. It's just a $4 comic now. It's a comic again rather than an expensive object. Even like you could read this in one of the hardcovers of trade paperbacks, but it's not a comic in there. It's part of a trade paperback. So I like that this makes them into comics again. So I find that very cool. Let me show you a little something I did. What do we got back here? There we go. This is the one, Dreams of Things 193. There's one I just inked too. What is that? 196. So we finished the coloring on 193, and this one is a lot of atmosphere, a lot of background. We've got 3 different spaces, maybe 4. It's tough to tell, and one fragmented primary color guy. a little different than some of the stuff I've been doing. So we'll see how this fits into the overall. Well, I guess that's the second one in a row with just one figure. That one's got one figure and some eyes. This one doesn't even have other eyes, so it's a little lonelier. All right, there you go. Dreams of Things 193. Some artwork, some comics, and you guys have a good week out there.